What's up, guys? You're watching the Shaggy Ary Show. I'm Ari,
And I'm Shaggy.
and for this week, we'll be discussing on traveling while doing photography or video. Right, Shaggy?
So traveling as a photographer and videographer, or traveling with your camera, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm actually having trying to recover from a cold. So
Yeah, me too, man.
This,
I'm gonna cough a
pardon
bit
me.
here and there.
Yep. So recently I just went to KL and
Where is
for
KL?
KL Kuala Lumpur is in
Okay.
Malaysia. Is north of us. We are in Singapore right now.
Yeah.
So it's a 2-day road trip with my boss, and it's pretty refreshing. There's a lot of new roads, very familiar atmosphere. I used to go to Malaysia a lot of times. Not until recently that I stopped going because of commitments here in Singapore. Recently you've been to KL as well, right?
Yeah.
Shaggy?
So I went to KL. I think a few 2, 3, 4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
For the SEA Games. That was for like a week. I took it like a break, and it was I guess a worthy break lah.
So, for my business trip, I didn't bring any cameras along.
Why?
Because
That's weird.
it wasn't really. I was really sick. I anticipated to just stay at Concord Hotel all the way.
Wah, Concord
Uh,
Hotel lah.
for your case, you went
Yeah.
there specifically on a trip that will be going to a new documentary very soon, right? It's
Yeah.
for a new documentary that we're doing lah, basically.
Yes.
Yes and no?
Me being the pessimist that I am, I just work. Sometimes I don't expect anything out of things that I do. But yes, we are part of the reason of me. I mean, I found a reason to be there, which was to connect with people who are working with some refugees in Kuala Lumpur.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I got some footage, but I haven't really got the time to edit them yet because I'm such a busy person.
So, when I travel to Malaysia,
Yeah.
I don't normally take the flight. I love driving on the Malaysian road, even though it's very bumpy at times. But it's the most easiest mode of transport because I don't have to check in my luggage. I just put it in my trunk or wherever in the car, and just explore wherever I want to go. Of course, it takes a longer time, but at least it extends my reach to faraway places where not many will want to explore without your own transport. So how about you? How do you pack, or what mode of transport do you like, Shaggy?
Yeah, so usually when I travel, I like to fly.
Mm-hmm.
Even this time, I went with Jana, and she took the bus because she was part of the SEA Games Sport SG group. She took the bus, and I opted to take the plane, even though I had to pay a bit extra. But that's just my favorite way to fly because Changi Airport is so good.
Yeah.
Well,
feel that. Mhm.
I really love Changi Airport. So like any excuse for me to to go through Changi Airport to get somewhere else, I'll take it. For me, I've traveled since I think around 2011, 2012, 2012, and I've always I never liked packing a lot. So like the first time I traveled, I just brought a backpack and that was it. As I go along, I realized, okay, you know what? I'll
It's very
need
tiring, right?
just carrying Oh, my light just went off. Give me a moment.
Okay, no problem. So, the difference between this week and last week's podcast is that both of us are in different locations, but for this time, we are actually beside each other.
Let me reveal that to you. Can you see we're actually in the same place? But we are just gonna do this. So where was I? I was traveling. Okay, yeah. It was tiring for me to carry one backpack. Yeah, that's when I realized, so I never. So when it comes to camera stuff, I never check in any of my camera gear. Batteries, you already know you can't check them in because they are lithium. You can't check in lithium ion batteries.
Mm-hmm.
Be it camera batteries or your power bank, you can't check them in.
Oh,
It's
I
not
didn't know
safe.
that.
Yeah, it's not safe. And lenses, you don't want to check in your lenses. So your lenses will come with you. The camera body definitely will come with you. So none of my camera gear goes into the check-in luggage. But back in a few years ago when I was traveling, I would carry a side bag. I don't know how to call it, like a reporter bag, a camera bag on the side. Maybe I can look up some photos and show you. So it's gonna the bags look like this, and all my camera gear will be inside that bag, and my backpack will only have like my laptop and some other accessories lah. So the idea was to have another bag that can have all my gadgets, including my cameras, and my main backpack was for main items. And bigger items. But slowly, as I went along, I changed to this bag. Wait, I changed to this bag, which could carry cameras on the side, and then the top is for everything else and some laptops. But I'm beginning to think that it's a bit too small, but I don't know. I refrain from carrying camera bags because generally they are too ugly. Because I'm superficial like that, I only like to carry a bag if it looks nice. So that's how I carry it. And the first time I flew, I didn't have a camera. Yeah, that is pretty much it for carrying stuff.
For if it was me, if I would also prefer carrying a backpack as well, but I wouldn't want it to look so too obvious. To like, you're basically displaying to other people around you that you are a cameraman or the photographer or videographer, whatever, and
Yeah.
carrying expensive gear, so everybody will be like eagle eyeing on you. Like, at any point of time you put your bag down, it's such a high risk for you to just leave it at a corner. So I agree with you that a bag should look nice, and also it should look something non obvious lah, right?
Yeah, I generally, when I choose my bags, right, or camera bags, I generally try not to get anything that looks like it's a camera bag. Because certain camera bags are very obvious that they are camera bags, and I generally avoid those. Before you mention it, it slipped my mind that yes, one of the factors why you don't want to carry an obvious camera bag is because you don't want to carry something that will attract people and make people know that, hey, this guy is carrying expensive equipment in his bag, and come rob him, that kind of thing. You try not to do that, and then like self-sabotage yourself by doing that. So I am in the market right now to look for another camera bag because the bag that I showed you just now was broken. And I was looking at the Manfrotto collection, and I realized that the nicest bag
Is what I
has-
have.
Yeah, is what you have. So I'm not gonna buy that.
That will look very awkward.
I'm gonna look at other brands then. Yeah.
The reason why I bought it is because it looks nice. Number one, number two is that it looks it acts as a different. If you're not really doing it for photography, you're also doing it for traveling or a
Yeah.
day trip out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of compartments that you can do lah. It's good for me because I'm part time, so I'll be carrying along my office stuff together. Then after work, I'll go out and do some shoots. So below the carriage of the bag, there's my camera stuff. Then on top of it is all my office stuff, and behind it, it's my laptop. So it works for me. But the thing that I don't like about that bag is that, in comparison to yours, is the positioning of the tripod holder or sling.
Right. Where is
It's at the
yours?
side.
Oh.
So that hinders that the weight distribution ain't really that good lah in comparison to yours, which is positioned downwards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on, the there are some locations in KL that are noteworthy. The thing that I okay, not really in KL. The difference between Singapore and what I've experienced outside is that Singapore's locations are very very easy to find, right?
Yes.
And also
Yes.
well explored.
That's something that I think we take for granted. The fact that in Singapore, right, everything is so accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you want to go anywhere, the paths are very obvious, you know. But when I was in KL, like last month, I felt that KL is not a very walkable city.
Yep.
Anywhere you want to go, you still have to drive. It's like Los Angeles or something. You have to drive. If not, you're fucked. So like, I mean, Uber or Grab is your best friend in Kuala Lumpur, because the prices are quite competitive also, and yeah. So that when you Uber or drive from place to place, you're not really exploring because you already have your destination in mind, so you don't have time to wander around.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a place like Kuala Lumpur, you wouldn't want to wander around and go to the wrong part of town. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's something that a lot of us Singaporeans we. Oh yeah, by the way, both of us come from Singapore, and it's a very safe country where you can just walk around with a big camera and nobody's got you. You don't really run the
That's the
risk of.
thing.
Yeah.
I feel so awkward with my D5100 at the time.
Wow, D5100, you're already
Going
awkward.
out, yes. I, I, usually I how where I go in JB, for example, for
Yeah.
a few years back, we would normally do shoots at the back alley, and I would feel very comfortable because I've already exposed myself to the culture, and number one is my attire and how I behave. So I always keep an eye backwards, sideways while shooting, but not in Singapore. In Singapore, I don't have to think twice. Just place it at a safe place. You know that it's safe. You can see it, and just do it. Do your work. But in JB especially, try not to put anywhere else, or maybe just have a staging area that is safe. That's why they provide this kind of service at malls where you can keep your stuff and bring whatever that you need, pay them a day of rent space, and you're good to go.
Oh,
I
there's
didn't see
such
that
a
in
service
Singapore.
in Kuala Lumpur.
I have not tried it before, but in JB there is one in Larkin, as well as in City Square. There should still around there. There should also be some shops providing that kind of service. Is
Yeah,
there?
so it's a bit like I found it difficult for me when I was in KL, right?
Mm-hmm.
To just walk around and shoot stuff or like do something as simple as vlogging. You know, you don't want. I don't know. I don't want to stand out in a place like that. So that makes doing what we do quite difficult when you're overseas in these kind of places.
But don't isn't there other vloggers in KL doing the same thing also? No?
N-
Do you
the
see
thing is,
other
they
vloggers
don't
doing
really
it?
walk the street.
Oh,
They
really?
only whip out their cameras when it's confirmed safe.
Oh, okay.
I find like whether it's in the shop or it's in their car or you know then
Mm-hmm.
the camera comes out. They don't like they don't casually walk with a camera like how we can do it here in Singapore. Well, Singapore, as they say, is Disneyland. So you feel quite good here.
I don't
Feel
feel
safe.
safe in Disneyland though.
Have you been to Disneyland?
No, actually, but the imagination of
Eh,
being lost in Disneyland.
Fuck lah. Have you been to Universal Studio?
Yeah, yeah.
Same lah. It's the same thing.
Universal Studios has at least lockers lah.
Right. So what kind of things do you bring when you go overseas?
The equipment that I bring is minimal as possible.
Mm.
Depending on what kind of shoot. Usually, when I go out, I'll go with my Sigma, again the 17 to 50 millimeter, and my 30 millimeter Nikkor. That'll be all.
You're
Then
35, is it?
yeah, 35, correct.
Yeah.
So apart from that, no flashes, not yet. I don't currently not requiring any flashes overseas. But yeah, just a sling, extra batteries. Yeah, that's all lah. It's different from you lah, Shaggy. Cause your video and you have more things to carry, right?
Um. Okay, let me share with you like the first time I went to South Korea, right? So right, South Korea is very similar to Singapore in terms of safety. You don't feel afraid to just walk around with your camera. You feel quite safe in South Korea. And the first time I went there, I brought a Manfrotto monopod. I brought the camera bag that I mentioned earlier, and pretty much all my lenses. I think over the years, right, because the thing is, for me, I'm the kind that will over prepare. I will over prepare, and then gradually over time I realize, okay, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this, and I start removing the stuff from my kit. So I've reached to a point where I know exactly what kind of lenses I must use and will use whenever I go out. That's where I reduce everything. So what I have now is I will have a camera body. I will have this sling to carry my camera, and I'll have the Manfrotto Pixie, the microphone, the Rode video mic, and the most important thing is lenses, right? So the lenses is I must have a super wide angle lens.
Yeah, that's a must. Yep.
Yeah. So when you like for example, when you want to do vlogging and all that, you will definitely use this. For me, I have this 7.5mm f2. Previously, I used a Sony camera, so I used a 16mm f2.8. That was my go-to. That lens was always on my camera. And I will have. You will want a 50mm, a portrait lens, a fast. So you want a wide lens. You want a fast lens, whether it's f1.8 and below. And a zoom is optional in my opinion. You just need these two lenses and you're good to go. If you're doing just like travel, videography.
Run and gun,
I won't say run and gun. I'm not really running and gunning. I'm just walking around as per normal. It's just that when you're shooting, right, you don't really have the energy to keep changing lenses also. That's the practical thing. A lot of people will say just bring as many lenses as you can, whatever, but you're not gonna change, because once you see something happening, I don't think you have the time to think about, oh, I need to swap here and swap there, because either you become like those guys that have the lenses hung on their body all the time, which is not practical at all, or you just carry something that is versatile. Yeah. Let me plug the GH5 a bit. The GH5 has this magnification function which is quite cool. So I don't really have to change lenses. Actually, I can just use my wide lens and then press the button and then kind of zoom in to the next kind of zoom into what I want to look at, and I get my shot. And for me, what I love is I'm very insistent on this idea of using mirrorless cameras. Before this, I was using Sony. I think I mentioned this in the previous episode whereby I stopped using Sony because the lenses are too big.
Not enough times to remind me.
Too many times I mentioned this, but now that I switched to micro four thirds, I feel that I can comfortably carry a wide angle lens, a fast aperture portrait lens, and also a standard zoom, and that's all. You can put it in my bag, everything, and I'm good to go. Really.
Yeah, I do agree.
What do you pack for your travels then?
Yeah, I answered about that already. What I brought about when traveling.
Yeah.
But there was a trip that I recently went to, which was in Bali, Indonesia. I actually brought a lot of equipment, the equipment that I mentioned just now, but I challenged myself to use my iPhone 7s as well as the Osmo Mobile to to do a short video of the whole the highlight video of my holiday.
Right.
And I must say that it is quite appealing to the people around me lah. To see what's that? It's not really a handphone stick or
Oh, you're talking about your Osmo Mobile.
yeah, correct.
Okay.
Everybody was already looking, despite how small it is. Then they were quite impressed lah because I was able to bring at the time iPhone 7s was quite new, and so everybody was thinking, hey, your iPhone, how can you bring it underwater without a case? So
You put your iPhone in the water?
yeah, it's
What?
water resistant because it's the iPhone 7 Plus, you know. So quite amazing. Just by doing that, I'm able to capture near professional quality video, but
Okay.
from the help of
Can
an
I ask you
Osmo
a
Mobile.
question?
Mm-hmm.
Did it make you happy that people were impressed?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no, because it made me a bit scared lah, to be honest, because the people around me are already eyeing when
Right.
I'm releasing it because I have a hand grip for the Osmo Mobile.
Ah,
So when I put it down,
you have a
people
strap.
already, yeah, the people around me already looking, waiting for me when I'm gonna slip up. But apart from that, generally, Bali natives or people who are staying in Bali, they are generally very nice people. They believe in karma, and they won't do anything bad to others.
Because you're Hindu, is it?
Yeah, most of them are Hindu.
Right.
So that's what my guide told me lah. So generally they are quite nice people. The people that are not so nice are from the mainland. So they are worried because they are worried that I'm unable to differentiate between the two. So just make sure you hang on to your equipment properly. There's also one more sentient being or that I have to worry about, which are monkeys. Because I went to the temple, so the temple is full of monkeys. So the thing that I have to worry about is the monkeys grabbing my equipment. And if you see a lot of vloggers going to Bali, you'll be able to notice this temple that I'm talking about lah. Can't
Oh, then
remember what's
that's
the name.
like,
Just imagine monkeys going all over you. Are you
yeah.
okay with that? Are you comfortable?
Hmm. If if everybody is shooting the same thing, then what's the point of, you know, shooting like vlogging the space?
Not really lah. Is
Right.
the different experience each blogger brings to the whole game lah. You know, because I know where you're coming from. Shaggy doesn't like travel vlogs. He does it in a different way. Isn't it, Shaggy?
Um, when I vlog overseas, is more about like talking about the food that I eat,
Mm-hmm.
rather than telling people where I go. Because sometimes I really don't want people to know all the secrets that I find when I go overseas. So I mean, I'm quite an open book in online, but there are certain things that I do keep secrets about.
Mm-hmm.
But here I am, and yeah, I don't really like travel videos because there will be a point of time where they all look the same. One,
The drones lah. It's spoiling
two.
a lot of the whole shot. It
You know,
looks.
talking about drones, I think this should be our next episode
Hmm?
about should we buy a drone or not. So there was
Ah.
an article recently about how drones have been overused even in Singapore.
Yep.
So let's talk about that next week. But for this week, I feel like I don't know, man. Travel videos. I have yet to see anyone have a new take on it. I feel that, I mean, okay, it's great that certain people teaching other people how to do travel videos,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think that's fantastic. Teaching people and learning something new is always good. But the
Yep.
problem is everybody's doing the same thing, and there's something new to bring to the table, and like the little time that you spend in that country, like one week or less, um,
It's all spent on doing a good video.
oh man, that's so
That
tiring.
is the same as
Oh,
any other person out there.
that's yeah. So you like so much work being put in, so much effort,
So
and
you're
then
not enjoying yourself lah. That's the point, right?
yeah, that's like something weird nah. You know what I like to do overseas actually when I
Why?
travel? I actually like to go and look at all the camera shops more than anything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You bought one of your lenses in Korea, right?
yeah. So I don't really like to buy new stuff, like new electronics stuff overseas because living in Singapore and after going overseas, I realized that the prices in Singapore for electronic goods are actually the best prices you can find anywhere.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing when you go overseas is when you go to all the vintage, when you go and look for vintage stuff,
Mm-hmm.
that's more interesting because vintage secondhand stuff, I'm talking about like lenses and all that, that'll be more interesting because those are old stuff and sometimes they don't have it in Singapore anymore and maybe someone overseas has it. So when I was in Seoul this year, I bought a Canon FD 85mm f 1.8. It was great, it was sharp, but I recently sold it because I don't use it anymore because I've changed systems from Sony to Panasonic
Mm-hmm.
to a micro four thirds, and an 85mm, even if I adapt it to a micro four thirds, it's gonna be a
Super telephoto.
170mm, and that's not gonna be useful at all. Even if it's f 1.8, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So yeah, but recently I went to KL, right?
Yeah.
I did take the effort to look up at the prices in KL. Again, because Singapore is selling electronic goods at the best prices that you can ever get.
Mm-hmm.
Even in a country like KL, a lot of Singaporeans especially, we assume that when you go to KL, when you go to Malaysia, everything is cheap, 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 cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Like to the point where every time I have a conversation with a Malaysian, they are always talking to me about the currency, which I find a bit awkward because I don't want to talk about
Yeah.
my spending power when I'm with them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want them to believe that I'm carrying so much money and I'm so loaded that they can just rob me or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And aside from the robbing part, I don't want to show off to people and say that, oh yes, I'm rich. Ha, 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 you
But
know.
actually, it's the same thing.
Yeah, so when the thing is, when I was looking at camera equipment in Malaysia, right,
Mm-hmm.
in Kuala Lumpur especially, I realized that it is actually more expensive than Singapore, which was a bummer. Yeah, that was a big bummer.
Probably because of the logistics.
I think it's also logistics, economies of scale, in
Yeah.
terms of how many people are actually buying the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the same amount of people as in Singapore. Like Singapore, I can say that most of the people you know would have the spending power to buy all these things. So I don't know. And another thing is you need to. I don't know whether because Singapore goes by fixed price everything, so you can't really bargain in Singapore. So I don't know whether in a country like KL they put the prices just as a display,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's up to you to bargain. I don't know.
Then you have to speak their language, lah.
Then you no then you have to then all the other games come into play lah, like how you relate to people and how you speak and all that. Yeah, then you can get a better price. Actually, right, I
Mm-hmm.
did buy something in KL.
What do you buy?
It was this. If I'm not wrong, is this.
If I'm not wrong, is this?
Wait, I'm gonna show it to you. It's it's my step up ring.
Ah.
Originally it was like, let me check my Instagram. I think I posted it. Oh, it was really expensive, and I was like, nobody's gonna pay for this. But even in Singapore, the step up rings can tend to be expensive. So usually I buy my step up rings elsewhere.
Mm.
But I'm gonna check the price that it was on when I was there. Give me a moment.
While he's with when he search for his stuff, I really hope that photographers or videographers, creators lah, would share more on the locations that they find
Why?
interesting.
I don't understand why they should do that.
Why not? Because okay, there's something that you can share and something that you shouldn't share. In my opinion, locations are there to be shared, but how you use your creativity to that location, then it's up to you. Because the knowledge should be shared. Just like why we are doing this podcast, we are also sharing our knowledge to you, and also trying to get your feedback, and you're also sharing your thoughts with us as well, right?
I don't know, man. I really need to think about this. Thing is, I don't think I should expect other people to share with me their secrets.
Mm-hmm.
When they do, it's great. But I think there's always some form of repayment that you will do lah when people share with you their secrets or maybe photography locations and all that. There is a trade-off. You gotta give them something back. For me, this is something that you can't expect from people. Other than that,
Could be a marketing strategy.
there is an app for this, right? I think
Yeah,
you
but
told me about this app.
it's in Singapore.
Oh, it's only for Singapore.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's also recently when I tried it again, I have to unlock all inside locations shared by professional photographers. All
So you have to
95
pay, is it?
locations. Yeah.
Yeah lah. I
So
mean, it always goes down to
bi-monthly-
that, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I think no, but sometimes when you get too much information for people, it takes away the fun out of it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Okay, like for example, I'll go back to the purchasing of the step up ring.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I had to bargain, right? So it started from 49 ringgit.
Okay.
49 ringgit, I had to bargain all the way down to 25 ringgit.
Wow.
Yeah.
49 to 25. You could have gone lower lah.
I should have gone to 20. That's my regret. That was my regret.
But 20, if you think about it, five ringgit difference should be about $1 or $2 difference. Should be okay lah.
Yeah, I should have gone down some more. That's why I regret lah. But I think that's the thing lah. When you go overseas, there are different rules to engagement. Even if you want to bargain
Mm-hmm.
it's not as easy as just asking for a cheaper price. You know, there's still some form of like conversational skills that you need to display before you even begin asking for a better price.
So maybe if you all have any other experiences of bargaining or places to bargain overseas relating to camera products, you can
Yeah.
share it with us on the comments. So apart from Korea, where have you explored in the world?
Wow. This is a whole different topic. Well, I have the first time I flew actually
Mm-hmm.
out of the country was to go to Croatia.
Wow,
Europe.
Croatia. Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's nice.
I haven't really done much videography at that point of time. On my own.
Mhm.
So hey, wait, I did have a camera at that point of time. Wow, I totally forgot. I did do videos when I was in Croatia.
It was in your YouTube, right?
Yeah, it's in my YouTube. I
Yeah.
totally forgot. That's how long oh wow, that's really how long I've been doing this. So like, okay, so the first time I flew was in Croatia. Then I went to, I think if I'm not wrong, I went to Penang. Then I went to KL. Then I went to the most recent one. Then I went to South Korea. I pretty much go to South Korea every year
Yeah.
because I
second
love
home,
that country
right?
so much. Because I really love it. It just makes me happy. So I go there every year.
Every time he comes back from Korea, it makes me want to go there even more. Because of how he describes the people there and the environment and how things work so well, so in sync.
Maybe you can join me next year.
Maybe. I shall wait for it.
It's not that expensive, you know. It's really surprisingly affordable. That's the best part of South Korea. Anyway, yeah. Then recently I've been to Brisbane, New York City. But all of it, yeah lah. I mean, wow. Yeah. So as you know, we work in a workshop, and this is the kind of sound we have to deal with.
That was the reason why when we entered our studio this a few minutes ago, telling them, please, it's a freaking Sunday. Who does work on Sundays?
Wow.
So you want to take a break?
Maybe we carry our cameras and go outside. That would be very funny, right? When we go outside to the wilderness and do our video.
But it'd be a bit more noisier.
Oh yeah, because it's in the street.
Yep.
Well,
I don't mind cutting for a while because this wood cutting is not going to stop anytime soon.
yes, definitely. Reminds me of the project we did at Khatib, where there was wood cutting going on as well. Okay lah, let's take a short one.
See you in a moment. And we're back.
And we're back. Fantastic. So let's sum up what we have discussed. Like, this is all about, today's episode was all about traveling with your equipment and the fun times that you will have overseas with all your stuff. Some other things. So I want to know actually from the people who are watching, like, what is your experience traveling with your camera equipment? How is it like? Do you think that what we said, do you think that the things that we shared were relevant to you? Or did you even practice them? Or do you have a better idea to share with us?
Please share.
Yeah,
Because
please share.
we're not really that perfect as well as human beings. Yeah. So summing up what we experienced. Yeah, so just be careful with your equipment. Don't ever check in your luggage when you take a flight. And if there is an option to take a car, why not? Because that's how I roll. Even though it's quite expensive to do so, to rent a car. Yep, Shaggy?
Yeah, so for me, like, for example, bags, right? There's always a market for bags that are meant for carrying cameras that don't just carry cameras. Nowadays, camera bags, you can carry your laptop, computer accessories as well inside. I think that's a very good option if you are the kind of techie and you want to immediately edit your photographs or videos after shooting on location overseas.
Yeah. And if you are supposed to travel, there are a few of my friends that travel alone with all the camera equipment, but I wouldn't suggest doing that if you're a first timer, or if you're not used to the discipline of taking care of your stuff. Yeah, Shaggy has actually taught me a thing or two of how to
What's this?
you did pack your bag.
Oh,
That's
how to
something
pack
we
your
missed.
bag. Okay.
So there are some tips. For example, rolling up your clothes, right?
Yeah.
Rolling up your clothes, and also how to flat pack your pants into your luggage. There's a method to it, right?
Yeah, there is a method to it. Actually, when you look for it on YouTube, I think you can find like the best way to pack. I learned that because I was learning how to pack. As I mentioned earlier today, I was learning how to pack everything I own into a backpack. And those skills really come in handy when you want to do that. Even though I carry a luggage these days when I fly, I still practice the same thing. 'Cause I find that it's quite relevant.
So if you guys want to see some of the tips that we mentioned in this podcast, again,
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
yep. So do leave comments and request for us to show it in other videos.
Wow, I think when like the next time I travel, I should actually show people how I pack my bag.
Precisely.
Yeah, and that's not gonna happen anytime soon, I guess. Maybe next year.
So I think that's about it, right?
You know, I really love traveling with my camera. Sometimes when you go and fly, you always have to think about like if you want to make a video, for example, you gotta think about what content do you want to do, what kind of things you want to uncover, how do you want to present it. These are some of the things that I would think about before I fly, and don't get too bogged down by trying to be perfect. Sometimes the lightest kit is the one that gives you the most in terms of capturing the footage that you want, or telling the story that you want to tell.
Just to be safe, always have 3 types of lenses, I guess.
Yeah, a wide, a fast zoom lens, and also a fast portrait lens.
Yep. And try mirrorless, guys. Don't stay away from the heavy DSLRs because
That's
you really
surprising.
want to submerge yourself into the environment, not have a big footprint where people will start following you around or avoiding you in for photography.
Yeah, that's true. When you have a big camera, people do avoid you and try to take their photograph.
So if you're not doing a wedding photo shoot or some shoot that really there's a model or or someone acting in front of you, you want to capture the environment, keep it small, keep it light, and also
To get like natural reactions from people, right, when you do street photography.
yeah, and also do respect other people's culture. The thing that I actually wanted to highlight this in the podcast, but
yes.
it's a bit too sensitive. Is it? Can I roll into it before we stop?
Well, yeah, sure.
It's regarding how people view us Singaporeans
Oh,
overseas.
yeah.
Oh, yes. So a few years ago, I became sort of like a Malaysian lah. I spent most of my time in Malaysia, chilling out at Jalan Dobi and mostly in JB lah. So I've already dressed myself as a Johorian and also had friends that are from Johor. So viewing from a third person perspective how Singaporean behave in Johor, I'm actually quite embarrassed because here in Singapore we are well behaved, but when we are in JB, we tend to be a bit loud in how cheap everything is, or how sometimes it may be not really not as clean in Singapore. So everything we like to comment on,
Right.
and we want everything to be fast.
You want everything to be perfect, that's
Yes.
just the way like it is in Singapore.
So everything there is much more laid back. There's much more flavor to experience in their
I don't know, man. I feel like Singaporeans are just the kind of people that take themselves too seriously sometimes. Like even when I go to South Korea, I can smell the Singaporean and spot them from far away because they really don't know how to just act normal or blend in.
Yeah.
They really like have to impose themselves on people, which is very strange. I don't know why Singaporeans do that. But I think this is linked to the topic of respect, and when you are in somebody's house, try to keep yourself in check, I suppose.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
But then again, when I go overseas, I really act like I've been staying there for so long. Like act normal, just be like one of them, or be
Act
like
normal,
a
be friendly,
resident.
and don't ask stupid questions like, "Oh, you speak good English."
Oh.
Like for someone that stays in some place, you speak good English. Everyone speaks good English, bad English everywhere. So it doesn't mean that whether you're in Singapore you speak good English or not. So respect other people's culture, appreciate them more, and always be humble. Because when you're outside, you're representing us Singaporeans, and I'm giving this advice to myself as well.
Wow, so serious. I just talk about Singaporeans being serious, and here you are.
Yeah,
So like, I mean, just I don't know, just don't be so uptight and chill lah. I mean, when you go travel and all that, it's not like a big project. Sometimes when we go overseas or like whatever, we over plan. You know, we try to bring as much equipment as we can. But actually, at the end of the day, right, a holiday is a holiday, or traveling shouldn't be treated as like a like such a big deal that you overburden yourself with your equipment and overburden yourself with planning and all that. Sometimes you gotta relax and let go and let the vibe of the place that you're going to get into you, so that you can take the best images.
You might be surprised, like if you're really good and your character is welcoming, people start opening up, and other countries, they want to be like us actually. There are good things that Singaporeans have, character-wise, and they admire us. So let's not spoil the relationship by asking insensitive questions. Try to think before you just blurt out something that might be truthful, but not really appropriate. That's just me lah.
I
I'm starting
see.
to be too serious again. But it's a pressing matter lah. It's kind of sad lah when I was chilling out in Jalan Dobi looking at young Singaporeans strutting, walking with pride. I'm Singaporean. Or wearing the most latest, the most coolest attire. Actually, you don't really have to. And also sometimes when you're changing money and you're like counting every single one of your cash, so it's not really classy lah, in my opinion. Just do it on the low. Try to invisibilize yourself and learn their language lah. Like when you're in Korea, you learn how to speak Korean, right? Hangul.
Yeah, a little bit. I try to, or even
Yeah.
when I speak English in Seoul also, I don't speak it the way I would do in Singapore. I won't expect the people there to understand my Singlish, so kind of have to tone it down. And even my inflection has to reflect the English inflection that they are used to lah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a very good sign for us to go. I really want to, let's think about what we can talk about. What were you talking about? What did we mention that we might talk about next week?
That would be drones. Whether it's overutilized.
And maybe we can talk about lenses.
Lenses, that'd be good. Nice.
So we will see you everyone again next week. Thank you so much for watching. This was
The Shaggy Ary Show. See ya.
bye.